This morning, rising COVID-19 numbers in Pennsylvania leaves the question, will it be next on the New York State travel advisory list? Also, the race for the White House hitting close to Bonaventure, the commander-in-chief making his pitch to voters less than 90 miles away. And Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul in Cattaraugus County this week, rapid testing now available for you and your family. All this and more as SBU-TV starts right now. Thanks so much for joining us on this Friday morning. I'm Tommy Valentine.
And I'm Ryan Boland. Tommy, it's great that we can do this again here at SBU-TV, two anchors.
Finally starting to feel like things are slowly returning to normal. One thing hasn't changed, though. We have a packed show for you today, so let's get right into it. 38 states now on New York's travel advisory list. On Tuesday, Arizona and Maryland were added. In New York, there are nearly 495,000 total cases, with nearly 11,000 confirmed this past week. COVID-related deaths rise over 33,000. Pennsylvania, a state predicted to be on the travel advisory list. In Pennsylvania, currently 193,000 confirmed cases. COVID deaths increased to over 8,500. Pennsylvania not added to the list because of proximity to New York State and the amount of Pennsylvania residents that work there. With increasing Pennsylvania COVID numbers, Cattaraugus County has concerns. Within Cattaraugus County, almost 400 total confirmed cases, 71 cases currently active, and deaths increased to 16. According to the Cattaraugus County Health Department, Pennsylvania counties that border Cattaraugus County include McKean and Potter County. These two counties have a combined total of 141 confirmed cases and 3 COVID-related deaths. With the possibility of Pennsylvania being added to the travel advisory list, how would the St. Bonaventure community be affected? Our Zach Murphy finds out.
So we had started hearing about it last week that they were getting close to that threshold of meeting the criteria for being on the list. So we were worried, no question.
On Tuesday, Governor Cuomo announced that Pennsylvania, Connecticut, and New Jersey met the requirements to be on New York State's travel advisory list, but wouldn't be added.
It would be highly problematic, and it would be really devastating for the economy.
Commuter Darian Gregory feels fortunate.
I was real relieved. I didn't want to have to stay home and not come to school.
I'm standing on a state line between Pennsylvania and New York. Non-essential travel has been discouraged by the state of New York. McKean County and Potter County COVID numbers are lower than Cattaraugus County. So what are students and faculty that commute to St. Bonaventure supposed to do?
Obviously, we're still encouraging non-essential travel for those people coming over the border for work and for school.
Although Pennsylvania as a whole is seeing a rise in COVID cases, local counties in Pennsylvania are seeing low numbers.
I'm actually more concerned about my exposure here in this county than I am in my own county.
The university wants to remind students that the end is in sight.
We recognize that it's been a long haul for people, and I'm grateful we're getting close to the finish line here. We're only about a month ago, but we're discouraging everybody from traveling. And if you happen to live in Pennsylvania, probably even more so at the moment.
I'm Zachary Murphy with SBU-TV.
The university strongly discourages travel for students and faculty to limit the spread on SBU's campus. Currently, 4 active COVID-19 cases on campus, 17 confirmed cases since August 1st, and 13 recovered cases. All of this according to the St. Bonaventure University tracker.
Attention Bonaventure students, are you wondering what university isolation is like? Our own Sean Maines talked with his roommate who just completed the process.
October 5th, my roommate Riley Burns attended his randomized COVID-19 test at the Student Wellness Center in Doyle Hall. Burns later received his results, but unfortunately they were positive.
2 positives and 1 negative in there, so they could just kind of assume that it was a false negative and that I actually had it.
Burns was quarantined in Doyle for up to 10 days in isolation.
It's not fun. I mean, it's very boring. There's just so much time every day. It feels like every day lasts for a week. You just try to find anything to do that'll pass the time and get you out of there as soon as possible.
When asked about the living conditions, he seemed content, except for the food selection.
The food was just, it was god-awful every day. It got to a certain point where I had to email them and ask them if they could send me something else.
All 240 hours of Riley Burns' isolation within Doyle Hall took place right in the room above the bushes there. Burns described to me the moment he told his father the dreadful news.
I called my dad right away and I said, I just have really, really bad news. And he had known that I was getting tested that day randomly. And I told him I tested positive, and he said, yeah, I kind of knew you were going to say that when you called me.
Quarantine is now over for Burns, and he has rejoined the community.
It was probably the worst 10 days of my Bonaventure experience by far in there. I mean, it's just takes all the fun out of seeing everyone around campus, so it was definitely awesome to get some fresh air and see a lot of faces.
As of earlier this week, there are 16 students quarantined. 3 of those 16 are isolated, one of them on campus. Reporting for SBU-TV, I'm Sean Maines.
Burns' advice for students who may need to quarantine or isolate: bring a lot of food and find as many shows as you can to watch.
Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul was at the Allegheny Fire Department on Main Street Tuesday afternoon. Her goal: to visit the state-run testing site set up behind the fire hall. New York State provided Cattaraugus County, according to Hochul, with 5 rapid testing machines to use in its drive-thrus. That's in response to the spike in COVID-19 cases in the county. The county, as of yesterday, has 71 active coronavirus cases, after only having 14 active cases a month ago. Hochul did commend St. Bonaventure University for their work in containing the coronavirus.
There are some college campuses where that is not the case, so I think they should be commended for the work that the administration has done, putting protocols in place, but also to the students for following them. And that's made a great difference.
Hochul also mentioned new rapid testing sites opening up in the county. SBU-TV's Nick Gillian asked County Health Director Dr. Kevin Watkins about it afterwards. He said that the department is reevaluating other former testing sites that were shut down when COVID numbers weren't high. The AMC Allegheny 8 Theater not allowed to open yet. Governor Andrew Cuomo announced movie theaters in New York State can only open in areas with less than a 2% COVID-19 infection rate. Cattaraugus County rate is still above 2%. When the Allegheny AMC does open, it can only be filled to 25% capacity, according to Cuomo. The problem? AMC theaters informed the government this week that they may have to file for bankruptcy. But for the time being, AMC plans to open as many theaters as it can, eventually the theater in Allegheny, but for now, you'll have to hold the popcorn and candy a little while longer. Take a look at your screens this morning for our SBU-TV social media accounts. For all news surrounding St. Bonaventure and Cattaraugus County, let us keep you updated. And now over to Jaron Holmes, live in the studio.
Good morning, Tommy and Ryan. Are you aware that there is an all-men's locker room fighting to create change for the younger generation of Olean? I bring you the story of the locker room.
Tyrone Hall is more than just the owner of Hall of Fame Barbershop. He's a husband of a diverse family and a father of 2 adopted children. With the recent rise in social injustice and racism, Hall took action to make a change not only in his community, but at home.
I lead by example, so when he watches and sees me, he sees how a black man is supposed to carry himself in a community predominantly white.
Hall created the men's locker room, a once-a-month meeting, which he believes gives all men a safe haven to come and talk about difficult topics and how they can help create change within the younger generation.
Black, white, purple, green, whatever color you are, come together and reason and say, reason, let's go ahead and talk, let's communicate.
Hall of Fame Barbershop. Yes, you can come here, get your hair cut, talk about sports, and hear all the tea around town. But there's something special here. There's something that's a little deeper. This is not your ordinary barbershop.
We're like a staple in this community, Olean for one, because not that they just say, hey, that's a pastor that owns that barbershop. One thing that they say is that that's a good person that owns that barbershop.
Hall describes the first step in helping and changing the younger generation in 2 words: self-reflection. Are you being the best man you can be? Are you able to lead in this community? Hall says you can't implement change or educate people unless you are willing to look deep and change yourself. I'm Jaron Holmes with SBU-TV.
The locker room meets every 3rd Thursday of the month at Hall of Fame Barbershop. All men are welcome. Back to you guys.
Coming up, your 2020 election update as November 3rd quickly approaches. President Trump's most recent rally less than 2 hours away from Cattaraugus County. Also, in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, an inside look into the life of someone impacted by this disease. Stay right there. SBU-TV will be right back.
It's just vapor with flavor.
It won't hurt my kid like cigarettes, right?
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it? there's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
My kid?
My kid knows it's dangerous.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
I feel like her heartbeat is like same speed as mine. And I think we have this like deep connection, this heart connection in her heart, that there's room for me and mom. When I'm holding her, it makes me feel calmer. It's a sensory thing. It's a thing with Asperger's.
She's really good with Anya. I've seen adults react to my daughter when she has meltdowns, like she's from a different planet. And this little animal just sat next to my child and was just like, you know, it's gonna be cool. She's my superhero. Good job, kitty cat. When we adopted Lucky, we discovered all the wonderful things that make her unique.
Lucky's a little bit of a lot of things, but mostly she's pure love.
What's the best way to pick the right college? Use your head and make a practical choice based on cost and academics? Or follow your heart to a place that just feels right? At St. Bonaventure, you can do both. Here, you'll join a unique community that celebrates individuality, meet professors as passionate about people as they are about learning, and form lifelong connections without a lifetime of debt. Come see for yourself why St. Bonaventure isn't just a special place, it's a smart choice.
Do it for your roommates. Do it for your teachers. Do it for your crush. When it comes to wearing a mask, staying 6 feet apart, and avoiding large gatherings, do it for everyone in your life. Together, we can keep COVID-19 out of school.
Welcome back. This semester, St. Bonaventure University implemented hybrid learning, a combination of virtual and in-person classes. How are professors dealing with the hybrid learning? SBU-TV's Carolina Dumboxi reaches out to a psychology expert at Johns Hopkins.
I felt like I just ran this marathon at a full sprint. I thought we were going to like chill out for a second. Just kidding. Get back on the treadmill. We have to keep going. And that's exhausting.
I spoke with Dr. Carissa Parrish, a psychologist at Johns Hopkins Hospital, and she explained how exhausting it is to keep up with the changing guidelines for COVID-19.
So there are all the precautions, the quarantining, the kind of containment strategies is one part of the fatigue of the pandemic, right? So a twin of the pandemic fatigue is the infodemic. Infodemic is the idea of all of like having to sort through all of the different sources of information and figure out what is reliable.
With just over a month left in the semester, it's time to take a look at the mental health of some of the professors here at St. Bonaventure's campus. Philosophy professor Dr. Heather McDivitt shares why she decided to teach remotely this semester.
And keep students safe and trying to keep myself and my family safe. My mental health has overall been very well. I'm trying to get too emotionally high, never trying to get emotionally too low.
However, math professor Evelyn Bizik finds it easier to do classes in person.
In person because I do think that person teaching of math freshmen is better. My mental health was fine during the pandemic. Coming back to Bona's, it was pretty nerve-wracking because I'm a germaphobe anyway.
But the rise in COVID cases here in Cattaraugus County makes both professors nervous. Reporting for SBU-TV, I'm Carolina Dumboxi.
Take a look at your screens. Are you feeling like you have pandemic fatigue? Here are some coping strategies provided by Dr. Parrish and UCLA Health.
A lot going on in politics this week. Locally, President Donald Trump made a campaign appearance very close to home. In one of his final stops before the election, President Donald Trump on Tuesday visited Erie, Pennsylvania, just an hour and a half from Allegheny. President Trump spoke for about 50 minutes on topics like coal, voting, and coronavirus, saying at one point the U.S. is rounding the turn on the COVID-19 pandemic. Biden and Trump squared off in Nashville last night for the final debate before November 3rd, making their closing arguments to voters. With the general election only 11 days away, Trump and Biden discussed immigration, race, and leadership. We also told you last week we would keep you updated on the Supreme Court nomination process of Amy Coney Barrett. She will face the Senate vote on Monday. Barrett's nomination was moved forward by the Senate Judiciary Committee Thursday afternoon. Her nomination wasn't without drama as the 10 Democratic senators on the committee boycotted the vote. In their place, pictures of citizens who benefit from the Affordable Care Act. Democrats boycotted because they disagreed with the sped-up nomination process. Republicans defended the process, saying that the court will need all seats filled in case the election comes down to the wire. As always, follow SBU-TV for the latest on this Supreme Court nomination. And as a reminder, our election 2020 coverage continues the next 2 Tuesdays live on Facebook and YouTube. On October 27th, we will dive into the race for New York's 57th Senate District. And on November 3rd, live reports and analysis as results come in from the polls.
October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Thousands of people are affected by breast cancer each year, including right here at St. Bonaventure. This week, I learned why it's important to increase awareness.
Each year, around 250,000 new cases of breast cancer arise in Americans. While the death rate is declining year after year, breast cancer is still a leading cause of death for women in the United States. It can also arise in men. Many people are affected by that reality, including people on our own campus.
I'm Grace Foley. I'm a sophomore here at St. Bonaventure, and when I was 11, my mother passed away from breast cancer.
1 in 8 women in their lifetime will be diagnosed with breast cancer. As a young child living with her ill mother, Grace did not really comprehend all that was happening.
My mom would not have hair, or she would have doctor's appointments every Thursday. You know, she'd have chemotherapy. But to me, that was normal. I didn't know anything before that.
Dealing with the death of a parent is difficult to fathom. Doing so at such a young age is something only 5% of the U.S. population ever experiences.
Studies show depression and anxiety are more likely in people who deal with early parental loss. Grace tells us how she was able to cope.
You gotta find a good support system. I have that. I have 2 sisters, my dad. Finding that support system not only in your family, but also friends, being there for you and just, giving yourself time to heal.
While we dedicate October to increase awareness, Grace tells us she wants it to be a little more.
I think people need to realize it's not just some random month in the middle of the year where the people wear pink and do awareness walks and something. I think it's something that needs to be a topic of discussion all throughout the course of the year.
Reporting for SBU-TV, I'm Ryan Bowl.
Catching breast cancer early on significantly reduces the fatality chances for breast cancer. The CDC recommends you begin screenings at age 40. You can schedule a mammogram appointment at your nearby clinic or hospital.
Coming up after the break, a trip around the world. How have other countries dealt with the COVID-19 pandemic? And later, an inside look at your Bonnie's men's basketball team and their upcoming season. Stick around.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Because the fight isn't over yet.
You will see me choose to protect my community by wearing a face cover.
And even with my face covered,
you will see me. As a son, as a man with a never quit attitude,
as a fighter for change.
Join me in wearing a face cover
to help stop the spread of the coronavirus.
Because this is one small act of kindness
that has the power to make a big difference.
Roll over. Chance high five. All right.
When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique.
And your mother
and... I am totally a hat person. Right, guys? Thanks for being honest. They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love. Adopt pure love at theshelterpetproject.org.
The census is when we count every person in each home in every neighborhood.
Do kids count?
We all count, especially kids and babies. Make your family count!
Count all the kids living in your home. Visit 2020census.gov.
you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
I work out every day. COVID won't kill me.
I'm 24. COVID won't kill me.
I have antibodies. COVID won't kill me.
It's been a long week. COVID won't kill me.
I'm 25. COVID won't kill me.
I'm partying outside. COVID won't kill me.
I don't need to wear a mask around my friends. COVID won't kill me.
I'm 23. COVID won't kill me.
If I haven't gotten it yet, COVID won't kill me.
I'm young. COVID won't kill me.
Famous last words. Don't let them be yours. Be New York tough and smart. Socially distance. Mask up, America.
Welcome back to SBU-TV, and thank you for staying with us. This week, our own Michaela Hyman takes you around the world to learn how different countries handle the COVID-19 pandemic.
The United States remains the leader of confirmed COVID-19 cases and COVID-related deaths in the world. Today, confirmed cases top 8.4 million and deaths climb over 223,000, according to Johns Hopkins University.
But how have countries around the world been handling COVID-19? I spoke with two individuals about their pandemic experience across the globe.
Japan declared a state of emergency in early April. Today, over 95,000 confirmed cases in Japan. Deaths reported almost 1,700, all according to the Japan Times. The United States population more than doubles Japan's. United States Airman Jacob Motozenik spent the beginning of the pandemic in the United States and is currently stationed in Japan. He compares the cooperation of the Japanese compared to Americans throughout the pandemic.
As a culture, I think the Japanese were more obedient and more, I want to say they're like on the same page with their government. Their government was like, wear a mask, they'd wear a mask. Quarantine, they'd quarantine.
Hilton Collinson from Johannesburg, South Africa, shares his coronavirus experience. South Africa imposed a level 5 lockdown, comparable to the United States lockdown. No leaving the house unless considered an essential worker or getting essential supplies. He explained South Africa began to reopen in phases. In phase 3, confirmed COVID cases began to spike.
They actually banned alcohol. So from level 3, the numbers started to go up, and then they said, okay, no more selling of alcohol.
According to Collinson, Johannesburg remains in stage 3. Confirmed cases in South Africa just topping 710,000 and deaths climbed to almost 19,000. For every 39 people in the United States, one has COVID, compared to the one COVID case per 81 people in South Africa, all according to Johns Hopkins University. For SBU-TV, I'm Michaela Hyman.
According to both Motozenik and Collinson, each country is following CDC recommendations of wearing masks in public and maintaining social distancing, similar to the United States.
Over 60,000 Chinese citizens received COVID-19 vaccine. China vaccinating first responders and those in high-risk professions in an emergency vaccine program since July. No serious reactions yet to be reported. According to the Ministry of Science and Technology, 4 out of the 13 vaccines have entered phase 3 trials. Chinese government expects mass production of over 610 million doses of the vaccine annually.
Target is planning to pay out $70 million in bonuses to employees on the front lines for the holiday shopping season. 350,000 employees can expect a $200 bonus by early November. This marks the company's 4th round of pay incentives since the beginning of the pandemic. Target continues to motivate their frontline employees by permanently increasing starting wage to $15 an hour.
SBU-TV Sports leads us off after the break as we get to know one of the men's basketball team's newest members. And the college football season is getting even better this weekend. Grace Foley is in to take you through what will be the busiest Saturday of the season.
The census, a special time when we count every person in each home in every neighborhood.
Do kids count?
Of course. Counting everyone in your home helps support your neighborhood by funding things like schools, hospitals, and buses. Complete the census by calling or going online, or return your form by mail.
It's easy, secure, and most important, it's totally private.
Make your family count!
This year, make sure every child counts. Visit 2020census.gov.
What's the best way to pick the right college? Use your head and make a practical choice based on cost and academics? Or follow your heart to a place that just feels right? At St. Bonaventure, you can do both. Here, you'll join a unique community that celebrates individuality, meet professors as passionate about people as they are about learning, and form lifelong connections without a lifetime of debt. Come see for yourself why St. Bonaventure isn't just a special place, it's a smart choice.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it. No way.
No way. No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org.
Thanks for sticking around. Now we toss it to Grace Foley with sports.
Thanks, Tommy, and thanks for tuning in to SBU-TV Sports this morning. I'm Grace Foley. Well, the NCAA has made their intentions clear to provide athletes a sense of security amid the coronavirus pandemic. Athletes in both the fall and spring have been granted an extra year of eligibility. And now, winter athletes are added to that list as well. The announcement came down from the Division I Council, ensuring winter athletes have the same safety net that were provided to fall and spring athletes, should the winter season be cut short. The ruling encompasses both the men's and women's swimming and diving teams at St. Bonaventure, along with the men's and women's basketball teams. While head men's basketball coach Mark Schmidt is unsure which of his players, if any, will exercise that extra year, he does understand the reasoning behind the NCAA's decision.
The reason why they did it was, just to make sure that there's peace of mind from the student athletes. If I was a senior and I knew that we were going to play, 12 games, I'm thinking like, well, why do I want to waste my senior year playing 12 games? I'm going to opt out and redshirt.
SBU-TV Sports reached out to the athletic department to find if any of the winter athletes had already decided to take that extra year, but they said they aren't making any coaches or student athletes available for comment at this time. Despite the announcement from the NCAA, Schmidt is focused on the season ahead of him, however long it may be. And his team received a major boost this offseason with Kent State transfer Anthony Roberts. SBU-TV Sports' Anthony Goss talked to Roberts to find out what Bonnie's fans can expect from this new talent.
The Bonnies are back at practice preparing for the 2021 season. To make up for the loss of 3 key rotation players from last year's team, head coach Mark Schmidt brought in 3 freshmen and 3 talented transfers for the upcoming season, one of them being Kent State product Anthony Roberts. For Roberts, the decision to make the move to Bonaventure was an easy one.
Schmidt and Coach Kern recruited me out of high school, so we always stayed in touch. Me not going to visit other schools, so I felt like St. Bon was the fit.
Coming from Kent State, Roberts had to apply for a transfer waiver to play immediately. Last week, that waiver cleared, so he's ready to impact the team on the court this year.
I would probably say I'm a playmaker. I can make plays on the floor. I play with a lot of enthusiasm. I feed off the crowd. I see how the fans are here, so I definitely feed off the crowd.
After 2 years of competition in the MAC, a fellow mid-major conference, Mark Schmidt is confident Roberts' game will seamlessly transfer to the A-10.
We're expecting him to come in and, help us right away. And that's the challenge. And he's good enough. He showed it. Now he's got to, show it in the Atlantic 10.
With the season scheduled to start soon, Anthony is feeling at home here at St. Bonaventure.
I felt right at home. Everybody welcomed me with open arms, treated me like I've been here. So it's definitely been easy to just come here and just bond with the guys.
Great team chemistry, a classic trait for a Mark Schmidt-led team. For SBU-TV Sports, I'm Anthony Goss. New, now, next. Matt Ryan with a clean pocket is going for the end zone.
Over on the gridiron, more bad news for NFL fans. With teams continuing to report positive COVID-19 cases across the league, the NFL announced the 2021 Pro Bowl will be canceled, so they can focus on getting through the regular season. Fans can still vote for their favorite players beginning November 17th, and full Pro Bowl rosters will be revealed in December.
Touchdown!
Finishing at the collegiate level, the wait is almost over for Big Ten football action. Conference games begin tonight with a matchup between Illinois and Wisconsin at 8 o'clock. Preseason favorite Ohio State kicks off their 8-game regular season slate with Nebraska tomorrow at noon. And the conference is already occupying ABC's primetime spot as Minnesota plays host to Michigan tomorrow night at 7:30. Of course, we end with SBU-TV Sports Trivia. This week's question took some digging from our social media team. Let's take a look. During the St. Bonaventure Fordham men's basketball game in the Rose Hill Gym in 2012, there was a 1.5-hour delay. What caused this delay in the game? It was a bent rim, courtesy of Rams forward Chris Gaston and Ryan Canty, responding first with the right answer not even 30 minutes after the question was posted. Congratulations, Joe Blumenauer from Bronxville, New York. Tough to beat that response time. Follow us on all of our social media to show off your Bonnie's trivia knowledge. SBU-TV Sports Trivia returns Tuesday. That's all the time we have for sports. Back to you, Tommy and Ryan.
One final time this morning, take a peek at your screens for our social medias. Follow and engage with us here at SBU-TV. Have a question? Let us bring you the answers.
And I know, Ryan, you've got to be excited about Minnesota playing tomorrow night, your hometown team in action.
Absolutely, Tommy. I've been looking forward for this game, and for a few weeks now, it's going to be fun to see them back on the field.
Well, that concludes our report for this morning. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Tommy Valentine.
And I'm Ryan Bolin. So long.